Hello, welcome to iFanboy Mediasplode episode 55, SNL50, the Saturday Night Live Fantasy Draft, and the SNL50 documentaries. My name is Conor Kilpatrick. I'm here with Josh Flanagan.
Hello.
And Ron Richards.
Hello. How you doing, boys?
This is our Mediasplode show. It's our monthly show that was unlocked by the patrons at patreon.com/iFanboy. Thanks for the patrons. Thanks for being one. Please consider being one today if you're not. And this is our monthly show, which we talk about non-comic book media. And we thought that since this show comes out February 13th. On February 16th is the SNL50 big extravaganza episode. We would talk about Saturday Night Live, one of our favorite shows, and do a bunch of stuff around that. Oddly enough, they did not premiere in February. I think the first episode premiered in October. But
this is the May the 4th be with you situation.
I'm not in charge of the network.
No, we're aligning with the network.
I'm saying they're doing it way early.
I read the presser. I read the cat. They announced people are going to be on the show. I didn't realize it's going to be a 3-hour broadcast.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
it's 3 hours.
I think the 40th was like that. That was really awesome.
If it was a tour, they'd be in trouble.
Yeah,
and there's like a pre-show too.
Yeah, and there's like a concert 2 days before and stuff like that. Quick programming note. Also, normally yearly, this is the show. This is the February Mediasplode where we're talking about Oscar nominees and Oscar nominations. Right. The Oscars are on March 6th or 4th or 5th or early March.
The first weekend.
So SNL is trumping the Oscars. Also, the Oscars aren't that interesting this year. I mean, they are, but not whatever. But no, we're going to do it on the Hangout. Right. So if you are a patron, tune into the Hangout. You'll hear us do our Oscar picks. If you're not a patron, go to patreon.com/iFanboy and sign up, and you can watch that video. That's only available on Patreon. And Connor and I will be making our Oscar picks, and Josh
will be reading the book.
And Josh will be
catching up on his reading
and act uninterested. So
we haven't talked about it yet. But we might squeeze in the post-Oscar reaction Mediasplode right after the Oscars.
Yeah,
we haven't talked about it yet, though. But that's something.
I have other books. It's cool.
Let's move on though to our traditional first segment. It's the what we've been enjoying segment. What we've been watching, listening to, reading, enjoying since we last spoke. And I'll kick it off.
I could have predicted this, by the way. I knew you would be watching this.
I kick it off with Paradise from Hulu. It's the first season, 8 episodes. This is the new show from Dan Fogelman, who did This Is Us, starring Sterling K. Brown, who plays a Secret Service agent to James Marsden's president. And I can't say literally anything more than that, because just like This Is Us, there's a huge twist at the end that sets up the entire show and is actually the premise of the show. And
the whole idea was Sterling K. Brown told the guys, he's like, I want to do something different. So
and it's very much a mystery thriller, almost sci-fi kind of show. There is
lots of flashbacks.
How jawline based is it? It seems like it's a very jawline based show.
The biggest question I get watching it is how many hours a day does Sterling K. Brown exercise? And I think it's all of them, because he's quite naked in it because it's a streaming show, and he's quite fit. But literally, I can't spoil it. Just like if you had talked about This Is Us and spoiled the whole twist, you'd ruin it. Like there's a twist at the end here that is the actual status quo of the show, but it is a thriller. It is a mystery. It's more fun than like This Is Us, but it also has those really great character moments. The most recent episode was just devastating from a character perspective. Yep. But
and it's got Marsden, who we love. In it. We love Marsden, who's great in the Sonic the Hedgehog movies. I took my kids to see Sonic 3, and he wasn't in it enough.
He's great in everything.
Yeah.
I said that years ago when we talked about Sonic 1.
Yeah.
Which was 2020, by the way, beginning of the pandemic.
Yeah.
But if you enjoy sort of like mildly future, it's not like it's the sci-fi element would be like this is like slightly in the future.
Don't get too close to the twist.
I'm not going to get too close, but it's not right now.
Seriously, right now it looks like it got pitched like in the marketing. It's like Sterling K. Brown's a Secret Service agent, and he's uncovered a blah blah blah.
Yeah,
it is much more than that.
You're watching it too.
So I'm waiting for Ron to spoil it and go. I didn't. What do you mean?
No, I'm not. No, but I would encourage you, like, if you like. I'm.
Here it goes.
No, I don't want to give. Whatever. I was gonna say Lost, but it's not. It's not 1-to-1 to Lost.
No,
it's not. But that sort of like uncovering the mystery kind of thing, So yeah.
Yeah, and it's fun. He gets to have a little bit of fun here. It's very much different than his other character. And
I'm not spoiling anything. I would just I would recommend you all to watch it.
Are you current on it?
No, I'm not current on it.
Okay. Well, the most recent episode, not the one that airs tonight.
No, I'm behind that. Yeah, so I'm two back then. Yeah,
the one from last week was just devastating. That was like the closest to This Is Us. It was just like you would have cried on the couch.
Yeah,
but I really enjoyed it. It's just like really fun. It's not great, but it's fun, and the mystery is interesting,
and it's different, and it's not what it's unexpected, which I welcome that. So so
it's not what you normally. I mean, this is what the show I'm watching like this, so that's what's great about it. Let's move on to.
All right. So as far on my side of the fence, honestly, the thing that's been entertaining me the most has been a podcast called Blank Check with Griffin and David. If you're not familiar with it, it is a movie podcast. It is hosted by Griffin Newman, who you'd probably recognize from the Tick. Remember that Tick Amazon show a few years ago?
Very few people would recognize him.
Yeah, I know, but he was in that. And David Sims, who's a film critic for The Atlantic. And essentially the whole premise of the podcast is they take filmmakers who have ridiculous success and then are handed basically a blank check and discuss the movies that they made with that blank check.
Oh, so like okay. I get what you're saying.
So basically, it's an interesting kind of thing. Like and I'm coming to it late. They've done many movies.
What's one example of one?
They did a whole bunch of David Lynch stuff, right? So so like after Elephant Man came out, and then then he got Dune, and then went from there. So that's more topical. I could look at their feed, but it's it's a fun celebration of movies with a unique kind of angle. But they kicked off 2025 with a pretty big programming goal in that they're just doing Spielberg.
Oh.
And so they're doing every Spielberg film. I like how Josh just stopped looking at his phone and looked up when he heard Spielberg. So they're doing every Spielberg film. They started with Duel, and they're going movie by movie. Each podcast is about 2 hours plus long. They're great conversations. The most recent one that dropped this week has some affinity to our audience because they're doing Raiders. They did Raiders of the Lost Ark with special guest Brian Michael Bendis.
Oh, cool.
And so hearing Bendis talk about his love of Indiana Jones and his childhood, stuff like that, you could listen to that for hours. And it's a great conversation. They've got great guests. Yes, Josh, they already did Jaws. But it's one of those, celebration of movies and fandom around movies and the stories and all that sort of stuff. And they actually are very, very, very good at what they do. So, so if you like movies, check out Blank Check.
It's funny, when we were prepping for this show, I saw the art and I thought, hey, look, it's two podcasters. It's me and Josh. If you had haired me, it's just like every it's like 90% of podcasters look like that.
I know, yeah.
And that's what it is.
I'm going through their feed now. They did they also mix in they did Horizon, an American Saga Chapter 1. But they did The Postman, Dance of the Wolves. They did a whole Costner run, right? They've had great, they did Son of a Woman with David Krumholtz came on as guest. So they get good guests and they talk about fun movies.
David Krumholtz is not in the books, is he?
He should be. He should be. Yeah.
I wouldn't put him as a GDAT, but
I didn't say GDAT, but I could go with American Treasure.
We don't have any other books.
But anyway, so if you're looking for a good podcast, check out Blank Check. It's been fun to listen to. So
inevitably, even though last month we talked about this, and we promised a big feature on it when it finishes, let's check back in with the Pitt, guys.
I had nothing else to say. And I'm just
that's why, because honestly, all I've been watching, I saw The Brutalist, I saw September 5, I saw Kneecap, which by the way, Connor, thanks for the recommendation. That was a lot of fun.
I thought my time was up.
Okay, no, but I'm just saying, I was like, there's no other new TV shows. I didn't have much to add in the movie side. And I even said, Josh, if you read through our chat, I was like, can I just talk about the Pitt? And Connor told me no, but you asked and you got a yes. So go.
Well, I offered.
He knew I brought nothing because here's the deal. The only other thing I had is I just finished this audiobook on the Nuremberg trials.
Oh,
so just as a
he was frightened, brief, and totally responsive.
Okay.
I mean, see, so you can see. Try to call me out for looking at my phone. I'm setting up a bit, you son of a bitch. Let's check in because really, I don't care about anything.
Are we 5 through? Is that what 1/3?
6. We're 6 through.
6, yeah. Which is fantastic because that means there's 9 more. Where really we all thought, well, there would be 6 to 8.
Yeah.
No, you did.
You
Everyone
did.
else
You were the
knew-
only
everyone
person who
else
thought there
knew
would be
how many there were
16.
going to be.
I've known there
I
were
thought
15
that
15
too.
episodes since it was announced.
I
Yeah.
know, but you would assume, had you not looked at anything, because
Nope.
of how they make TV, they don't normally make 15 episodes.
It says right here on Connor's graphic that it says 15 episodes.
I
It's so
don't have-
good.
I
Can we
don't
just
have to be
let's
here.
not bicker amongst the three of us. It is so good, and let's just celebrate how good Noah Wyle is. And
it is a moment because everybody I know, even people who aren't like us, are like,
Weird.
Do you know about this? And I'm like, yes, I know about this. And
There's so many articles being written about it. Everywhere I look there's
It's-
another article about it.
it's there's very few things that we have seen that gravitate towards, I mean, like an older, more classic style of television that get to be this
but also not.
big. Right. No, I mean, but
Yeah.
like a modern version of it. But
Yeah.
clearly, like there's, it's got obviously it has the elements of, one of the biggest TV shows of like that other, but it is
Yeah, but it's
so.
no, but I think Josh is right because most medical shows now are not like this.
Oh yeah,
They're-
no, agreed. But at the same time, it's taking, yes, it's doing the hourly, episode 24 thing, which has been done, but like the lack of any score.
Mhm.
Like there's no dramatic music.
feel-
There's no, like, we were just watching Elsbeth, and like
Yeah.
they did the thing where like somebody did something and they walked by in the hallway and they like nodded and they did that like longing look. Like none of that broadcast TV shit that ER did have sometimes, and like
Yeah, but there's
yeah.
still like there's beats and a pace, so it's still a John Wells show. It's
Yeah.
clearly a John Wells show, which is like pretty much prestige broadcast television kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so it has elements of that. I mean, it's like here comes somebody else with a thing stuck up his ass. I mean, like those are all
so many of them.
right. Like there's always that kind of thing, but at the same time, like it's very rarely that like you get to the end. And if you haven't been watching the clock, all of a sudden it's over. Like, oh no!
Well, they are doing the hourly cliffhangers. It seems as if it seems as if every hour ends with someone fighting or dying or something, right?
Know, but in a world where like I can't pay attention to anything, where I'm distracted all the time, where I'm
it's
kind
more
of
of
like,
a you problem than a Pitt problem.
yes, I'm the only person distracted by looking at their phone right now. Fuck off. Like it's like you lose track of time.
Yeah.
And it sort of gets there and you're like, oh, we're just in the shift. What do you do? Like, there's not really a sense of how much time is passing. You're just in the thing with everybody. It's so immersive.
Well,
It's intense. There's no let up to it. There's no
right,
quiet moment, or it's just like one crisis to the next, to the next, to the next.
And what I love about it also, and what the difference between ER or any other show or any other medical drama like Grey's or anything like that is that these stories are getting breathing time. Like we're spending 3 to 4 hours over the span of 3 to 4 episodes with these cases. Whereas if this was a medical drama, the elderly father whose kids have to decide whether to take him off the machine, that's an episode.
Right.
The teen girl who gets pregnant and all the moral question, that's an episode. The fentanyl, that's an episode. But in here, it's all happening at the same time, and you're getting multiple hours with these characters, and you're letting, and so therefore the ramifications of their decisions, you're watching them play out over. That is a different kind of approach to television, which I'm just loving. I'm loving that. Yeah, it's that like Josh, like you said, that immersiveness.
All anchored by Noah Wyle, who I read was even when he's shouting, sounds like a soothing whisper.
He's the best.
He has a quality to him that feels so reassuring.
He's setting the tone.
Yes,
he is setting the tone.
He is
setting the tone.
100%.
At the same time, he's setting the tone, but also he's on the verge of breakdown.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's
Which
also
feels
the
right
tone.
for this moment in America right now.
I got to tell you what, though. I mean, I'm no TV writer or no TV show runner, but I got a bad feeling about that music festival. when we already had one injury from the lighting rig of the music festival, and then he had the tickets for the kid, and then someone he loves is going. Was that his kid or was that
his son? No, it's his son.
Yeah, they were evasive.
They were evasive.
No, they
because
weren't evasive.
I read
your mom.
No, he's
direct. Though.
No, because I went back and looked, because I listened to another podcast and they said that it was it was his mentor's kid. And if you go back, he never says dad, or your dad said, he said, mom, I wanted to know how you're feeling. The kid said mom, not, and he said, tell your mom. Like it was they did not define what his relationship to the kid going to the concert was.
Oh, you know who spoiled it for me? A bunch of it? Noah Wyle in the middle of WTF.
Oh, I thought he just called you. Hey, John.
Yeah, listen, I died episode 12.
there was a point right in the middle of it. He goes, well, then this happens. And I was like, dude,
We should try to get him on the show.
That's why I just ignore.
he collects lots of weird, dumb things.
Okay.
Well, you would
Like
too if you had a lot of money and a lot of time.
All that ER money. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
I
just want him in my life all the time.
I need more comeuppance for that way overconfident girl.
She's already got a little bit of it.
I want
she-
more.
yeah.
She's
She's
gonna get more of it.
Oh, she's gonna eat some more shit. I think so too.
She
Yeah.
needs to.
So let's before we move on, let's all pick our favorite non-Noah Wiley character on the show right now.
I like.
There are other people in the show.
Yeah, that's great. The cast is great.
It's probably I like Dr. Langdon, the resident or whatever. I think he's pretty good.
The Richard Grieco guy.
Yeah. With the hair. Yeah.
Should have known better.
And the dimple.
Yeah.
Oh, I also like the Scrubs kid.
The pretty
kid-
boy
The kid
nerd.
who has
the-
Fist Bear Scrubs.
The
Yeah.
farm boy. Yeah. I want them to keep that bit of him getting body fluids.
Smaller
on
and
him.
smaller
Yeah,
Scrubs.
Exactly. Yeah.
You can see, like, why don't you not see this coming right now, dude? I
Yeah.
can see it coming.
Yeah, you're
I
gonna get
have to
pissed
go
on.
with I don't know what her position is. The one person with an actual authentic accent.
Oh, the charge nurse.
Yeah.
charge
She
Yeah.
was
Fantastic.
married to Dennis Hopper, the actress in real life.
It's amazing she doesn't look older.
I know. She's great. She's awesome.
No, she's totally
so
my
good.
favorite,
Yeah.
She's
So,
been through more.
I
than
will say
everybody in that show.
I did appreciate in the last episode when the lunch got delivered. It was Permanente Brothers, which are like the sandwich to get in Pittsburgh. Like, so it was all accurate, locally accurate. So
I will add one tiny little point is that because they are on, I guess, Max, it's an HBO, whatever.
Yeah.
They have chosen the right amount of leeway to take with the less censoring they have.
Like language and nudity.
It's a little more graphic. There's some swearing, but it's not so much.
It's not a lot.
Well, you know what I mean. Like sometimes
Yeah.
they get in there and all of a sudden it's just like fuck, all over the place. Like you don't have to. It's distracting in some instances. But
And if anywhere would require you to swear all the time, it'd be working
Yeah.
this ER. But yeah, the nudity is all very much medical, contextual.
yeah,
I look away from the screen quite a bit.
it's
quite graphic.
My wife
It's
is
like-
my wife is don't look. Okay, you can look. Like it was very much. Yeah, I cannot.
A lot of cutting.
All right. So we'll check in. I'm sure we'll have more to talk about.
I'm loving it. It's my favorite thing on TV right now.
It is the best thing I'm watching right now. Collectively, I think we're all in agreement of that.
For sure. I'm so excited every Thursday night. Thursday nights feels good. Feels right.
Really, because I have to do a show, and then by the time we're done with it, I got to wait till the next night to watch it. But good for you, West Coast time.
Yep. So, like we said, SNL50. This is the week for celebrating the 50th year of Saturday Night Live, and in preparation for that, they did several documentaries celebrating Saturday Night Live. The first being a 4-episode series called SNL50 Beyond Saturday Night on Peacock. I watched it. Ron watched it. Josh, did you get a chance to watch it?
Nope.
Okay.
I
So
don't have Peacock, so
really great.
Overall, I give it thumbs up, but I do have mixed feelings about it.
That's interesting. So the first episode was about, what was it about? Oh, the auditioning.
First episode was about the audition process. The second episode was about the writers.
So it was a week in the life of the show through the writer's perspective.
Sure. So at this point in watching it, I know nothing about it. All I knew was Morgan Neville and blah, blah. It's 4 episodes. And they do this great thing about the audition process, which was fascinating. You heard all these stories and heard from people. Although odd choices in who they picked and they didn't. They were like, what about this? I want to hear from this person.
Who will agree to do it too.
Exactly. Yeah, I guess so. And then they do the thing about the writers. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. They're spotlighting different elements of the show. And so we go to watch the third episode. And the third episode is just about the cowbell sketch.
But that works. Now they're zooming in on one sketch and how it came to be, what happened to it, why it made
I guess so. But I thought it was going in the direction of a different direction than a specific. And then the fourth episode is about the 1985 season when Lorne Michaels comes back and like the bad year basically, and the story of that season. And so this is a episodic docuseries, but I felt a through line through the first two, and then the third and the fourth just made like wild left and right turns. Not that they were bad. I enjoyed watching them, but as a beyond Saturday Night docuseries, I felt it lost a cohesive strategy around it. So.
I thought my really only criticism was that I would have flipped 3 and 4 because 4 ends on a down note, even though even though that episode ends on an up note, because the 85 happens, Lauren comes back. It's that famous season with like Robert Downey Jr. and Anthony Michael Hall and Randy Quaid, and it's a disaster. Damon Wayans, they literally burn the set show down on the last thing of the show, but it ends on a then we kept Lovitz and we hired Carvey, and like then the show takes off. So I get why they did it that way, but it just the whole time I was like, oh man, this last episode's a downer, because the story was a downer, whereas 3 was really fun. So I don't know, I get why they did it, but I felt it was an odd choice. But
yeah, like I enjoy, like if they had released a documentary about the cowbell sketch, it would have been great, because that sketch is awesome. It was great, the story to tell. But no, they did. But under this banner of SNL50, it just stuck. Like those the latter 2 episodes just stuck out, especially when the first 2 were so process oriented.
I thought 3 was super process oriented, because I went through the whole thing and how it happened.
I understand that, but it was more about the cult of personality of that sketch, and of course, fucking Dave Grohl. But I don't, and again, not saying I enjoyed it. I'm just saying that if you tell me there's a 4-episode Saturday Night Live docuseries, and then like based on the first 2 episodes, my expectations with the 3rd and 4th would have been more similarly like looking at more people like below the line people, or from the control room. Like I can think of so many other subject matter topics that would have kept the theme of the first 2 episodes and let the whole 4 thing be kind of connected in that way. But that's the creative choice they made. And
what's interesting is if you look at the key art here, it's Keenan, that's the first episode, and the writers of the second episode next to him. Above that is Cowbell, and then they don't have anything from episode 4. It's just Studio 8H. There's no photo of that cast. But I do want to talk about episode 2 a minute, because this show's been on 50 years. If you like it, you know a lot about the show. Yeah. But I'd never seen the show from the writer's perspective throughout the entire week, from the first day of pitching to the show date. I'd never taken that journey with them. And you watch that and you finish it and you go, of course everyone comes out of that show totally insane.
Well, that's the one common thread that I think went through every episode, no matter what the topic was, that at least multiple people in every episode says this was both the best job I've ever had and the worst job I've ever had. And on the specifics of the writers that you're talking about, is that like writer is really a misnomer. They are producing their sketches from beginning to end. I didn't realize that they're like, the writers are in there with the carpentry people and all this sort of stuff as they're figuring out how to have the sketch come to life. And what blows my mind, and what I have always wondered, more so in the last 20 years, although I guess they've been doing it since the 70s, but I've always wondered how they did the pre-produced packages. Yeah. Right. Because
24 hours.
Because technically they're like, oh, well, we have a week to do it, but they don't really have a week to do it, because they don't really get their shit together until Wednesday. Like they don't really know what they're doing until Wednesday. Right. Yep. Nobody does anything on Monday. Right. And then like all that stuff. So Wednesday's when they know it. They are shooting at another studio on the Upper West Side on Friday, and then Saturday. Editing all into the night, and editing Saturday. And what's funny is that we're talking about the second documentary in a bit, the music one. And when they're talking about the Lonely Island videos and stuff like that, like some of those, they said no one saw it until it was after dress rehearsal Saturday night, right? Which is just the stress I felt as someone who's produced, as like we've all worked in production, have done stuff, and like the idea of like, especially with notes and feedback, like how you can build a system that can move that fast and actually deliver results at the quality level that it does, I think is just mind blowing.
It only works because of Lauren.
Yeah.
Like Lauren's the greatest producer of all time. He's a great TV producer of all time.
Yeah.
And there's been great TV producers, but the fact that he's built this mechanism that can survive constantly churning out people, constantly churning through people, and there's squeaky chairs and all.
Squeaky chair. Back my show.
I do. It is totally worth watching. All the episodes bring something interesting to the table. But I thought it was a good overview of the thing. But 2, I think, is like, if you're only going to watch 1, I think 2 is the one to watch, just because it gives you a total insight into everything.
The audition process is fun, but I agree with you. 2 gives you this is what it feels, and that's why going into the cowbell sketch, I wanted more like 2.
You wanted more cowbell.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted more cowbell. The cowbell sketch episode is very good, because that sketch, I remember watching that sketch live that night it was on, and yes, it is legendary, but to hear all the behind the scenes stories and
that was almost different. Who was there? It was really for Norm Macdonald, not for Christopher Walken. And
right. And then how even Christopher Walken in dress, he didn't do it as yeah. And then I love and just it just increases your love for Will Ferrell because like how they did it in dress rehearsal and then he went back into wardrobe and said, okay, get me a tighter shirt.
Yeah.
Like just little tweaks like that or just, it's really good.
And also the most, we're going to move on. The most interesting thing about that I thought was that it was a sketch that was buried in the show. You know, we all know that the last 30 minutes are like they buried the sketches, but it was shot in the sides, you know, they got different setup spots. There's the main, there's home base, which is the main one in front of the whole audience. And then as you go further away, like that's how important your sketch is. It was shot in the corner. Yeah. Like, was it called like the death zone or whatever? They had some nickname for it. And so they thought nothing was going to happen, but they said the laughter that came out of that sketch was something they'd never heard before in the terms of the people that were in the audience. So I thought that was really, really fun. But to me, ladies and gentlemen, 50 Years of SNL Music was it was an amazing documentary. This is a 5-star documentary.
Josh, this is the one you need to watch first. So
if for nothing else, that opening 5-minute segment where this is directed by Questlove, and he takes 50 years of music and he basically mixes it like a DJ. Where it's just a 5-minute montage and the songs come in and out and they overlap, and they said it took a full year to do that one segment, but it was
like we had to stop it, and my wife was like, how did they do this? Like it was so seamless and so like it worked so well and really crazy. And what I love about this what I loved about this documentary is it really represents the fact that like all the comedy and all the stuff that we love and all the characters that come out of it, SNL has really been a document over the last 50 years of popular music I think more so than MTV, more so than the other musical institutions that we had, because you see the arcs of popular music and the rise and fall of artists and all this sort of stuff. And it just, you know, the fact that I was able to watch this 2-hour plus documentary and end it and be like, oh man, they didn't show and list off like 10 more bands that they didn't show because they didn't have time. But it just shows how Josh, Jimmy Eat World did not make the cut for this, unfortunately. But as my wife said, she's like, are you surprised? I'm like, no, not really. It wasn't very memorable, but still.
I mean, it's one of the first places that broke rap in a popular fashion. Like it
was the first time rap was ever performed on national television, on broadcast television. Yeah.
I remember as a kid, you know, Monday morning in the cafeteria at lunch, people would talk, you would hear them talking about SNL, but you also hear them talking about the musical guest if you'd never heard of that person. It was like a place you could still break someone on a national level back when everyone watched it. You know, you could come on as an unknown artist and come out of Sunday morning and being a huge star. And they had a whole bit about Adele, how she performed, and then she'd get on a plane. By the time she landed in England, she had the #1 album because of SNL. So it was really really well done.
And they tapped into a lot of the legends. Obviously, Josh, they talk about Elvis and the radio and how he was never actually banned, and then they show the number of times he comes back to SNL, right? Which is funny.
What's funny is like I knew kind of who he was, but when he was on in like 88 or something,
89,
and there was for the King of America, and I was like, I've seen pictures of that guy. I guess it was 11, and he had a giant beard.
Yes, yep.
And I was like, what the fuck is this?
He's unrecognizable. He's like undercover in the witness protection program.
I love Elvis Costello. He's so good. But they did that, Josh. There's a whole segment on fear.
That was a great segment.
It's a whole and what's so funny about that is that they didn't even mention. They said that they filled the studio with authentic punks, but they didn't mention who the punks were. Mm-hmm. And Connor, I don't know if you know this or not, but in that grouping of punks was Ian MacKaye and Brian Baker from Minor Threat, who now went on to Fugazi and Bad Religion and like all that sort of stuff. Cro-Mags, like that. It was not just a bunch of kids. It was like a who's who of hardcore as of 1980.
Brought in by Belushi.
Yeah, which is all brought up by Belushi, which is fantastic.
But also Eddie Murphy's in this. He never does this shit for SNL. He's in this documentary. He told some funny stories.
No, after watching the docuseries and then watching this was the only one that Lorne was in. He was in the other one. He was
file footage.
But it was all archive stuff. But this is where actually Lorne, as of the last year.
Everybody loves Questlove.
Yeah.
Honestly, it is. Yeah. That's why Eddie's there.
It was very, very well done. It was very cool to see a lot of the stories. You get a lot of Tom Morello. You get a lot of Dave Grohl, Josh.
The Tom Morello story was really funny.
Tom Morello's great. Yeah.
About Rage Against the Machine getting thrown out by the Secret Service onto the street. Like that was very funny.
Why did they book Steve Forbes? That's just
he was part of the zeitgeist at the time.
Oh God.
But they had a whole long bit on Sinead O'Connor. Like but they also did like musical sketches and like they hit
the narrative was great because it talked about like documenting music and providing a place to see live music, but then the role of music as content, as you mentioned, Connor, in the sketches, and the role of musicians on the show, sketches, so it really showed how intrinsically tied music is with SNL.
One thing it was missing. No talk about the band leaders. Not a single mention of G.E. Smith.
G.E. Smith's Saturday Night Live Band, yeah.
They had the most recent band leader on as a hot talking head, but they didn't talk at all about the band leaders and what they do or what they, what they're playing.
G.E. Smith had this.
Yeah, I remember G. And they, I'm glad that they explained the Blues Brothers. I love that Lauren just didn't get it, they needed 3 minutes to fill, so they said, "Sure, you can go do it."
And so much happens because of that. On TV, like, people don't realize how much of it's just like, fuck, we just need to fill 30 seconds, go out there and sing.
Yeah,
I thought it was terrific. I still haven't deleted it from my DVR because I want to watch it again.
Well, it's on Peacock, so you can stream it whenever.
But I've got it on my DVR.
Was it on TV? Was it on? Did they show it
on NBC? They aired it.
Oh, I didn't even realize that. Yeah, I guess that. Yeah. So okay. But it's great. Josh, this is the one that you need to watch. This is the one
you need to watch for sure. Yeah.
I know.
So we're celebrating SNL50 with something I'm very excited for, but also I'll be honest with you, I'm a little terrified.
Hey, it wouldn't be right if you weren't terrified.
So let's do the SNL fantasy draft. Where let me make this bigger.
So what we decided to do was, I think it was Connor's idea. I'll give him credit for this. Is like, we haven't done a draft in a while. For those who our patrons have seen, I think we've done it only on Hangouts. I don't think we've done it on the podcast, have we?
We did a G.I. Joe draft, and we did we did the 80s movie draft on the Mediasplode.
Okay, well, so we're doing a draft. You know, the whole thing.
Programmed 80s network
television. That was fun. That was a good time.
That was fun.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna draft our fantasy SNL cast. We each get 7 main cast member picks, 1 Weekend Update host, and 2 featured cast members. Featured players.
There were 7 original not ready for primetime players, so we're doing 7. I just want to note that we could double our cast size and still have a killer cast, each one of us. So, people are going to be left out. Weekend Update, you can only the person you draft as a host can only be the host. You can't sneak like Amy Poehler in there and have her do.
You can't do pairs. That was one of my questions.
No pairs, but also you can't. They're not going to be in sketches. And then the feature.
Wait, that's not. Yeah, fair.
That's it. You can't sneak Chevy Chase in there and have him show up as Gerald Ford. He's only going to do this Weekend Update like Colin Jost. And then featured players are from the list of people who are only ever featured players and never made it to the main cast. So there's those. That's the twist on that one.
Okay.
We need to pick our draft order.
It is.
All right, so we're going to pick the order live now. We have
I have a random draft generator. I have our names in there alphabetically, and I'm just going to hit the button.
So we're not doing writers.
We should have had a head writer slot.
I'd rather do that. I'd rather do writers.
Well, that was weird. It just randomized me to the same list in alphabetical order again.
Do it again, or do you want me to do it?
I'll do it again.
You know, they make a lubricant you can put on that chair.
All right, so the the draft order is, I'm going to change it on here so it's in order. Ron is first.
Oh, right. Whew.
I am second.
Oh, great.
And it's a snaking draft. So
snaking draft. Ooh,
so Connor, so Josh, you've got the 3rd pick, but that means you've got the 1st pick in round 2.
Yeah,
gotcha. I remember.
Yep.
All right, so that's that.
All right.
Let me just.
So I got the 1st pick.
Yeah, hold on. Don't hold your horses. I just want to make sure. All right, so just to show people what we got going on. So you'll see this page, but behind the scenes we have.
For audio listeners, we're looking at a spreadsheet.
Yeah. We have cast list. We have Weekend Update anchors. We have featured players.
Yeah, we just got a list of everybody and their headshots.
So that's what we're looking at behind the scenes. You're just going to see this page.
Yep.
Do we want to update the actual snaking bit or not?
No, it's okay.
It's fine.
We're going to keep track.
That's fine. No, we got it.
Ron, don't take Tim Kazurinsky, please.
All right.
So Ron, you get the first pick of the draft.
First draft pick. So I was working on my strategy. I've got a pool of folks to choose from.
And everyone's gonna have their own strategy. Everyone's gonna have their own reason.
And these are the people at their peak.
Yeah.
It's also I just want to mention. Everyone's gonna have their own thing. My feeling is it's the people as they were. It's like if you pick Robert Downey Jr., right? He was bad on the show.
No, it's him on the show. It's them when they're on the shows. Yeah, exactly. So, all right. So first pick, I think it's stuff. It's between two people, and I'm gonna go Eddie Murphy.
I mean, it's the only first pick.
No, I could have picked 5 first picks. So yeah, so
I would have gone with him 2 first. Like I didn't think you would, but it's not.
So now I'm mad because I know I had to pick that, but that means I'm going to lose other people that I wanted. So anyway, Connor, your first pick.
So that was my first choice.
Where's he gonna go?
Looking at my list, I have it broken down into stars, glues, and characters.
Oh,
I didn't look at all.
All right, well,
shocking.
That's fine. I am going to go with my first pick, which is my top glue guy, Phil Hartman. Why did that do that?
Interesting.
It's a good pick.
Why did that do that? Let's fix that. Boom.
This
All right, there we go.
All right.
So Dana Carvey.
Dana Carvey.
Josh goes Dana Carvey.
All right.
Do you want to talk about why you chose people? We should probably just say a little bit about why we chose them.
I mean, for me, Dana Carvey was my first comedy love. I don't even remember why. I was church lady or whatever it is. I saw his impersonations. I probably started watching the show when I was 10 or 11 or something like that. It was at their peak. I mean, for years, what I wanted to do was be on Saturday Night Live. I wanted to write for Saturday Night Live when I was a kid. And he was my first. And also to this day, like he can show up today on the show 40 years later.
It's crazy. Like he's been a cast member this year. It's been
fucking kills.
Yeah, he's
because
so good.
He can do anything.
He's so good.
He can just do anything.
Yeah.
Ron, oh no, Josh gets the next
me.
Pick.
Yeah, Josh gets round 2 pick.
Will Ferrell.
As he should. Connor, you saying we need to explain these picks?
Well, just talk a little bit about why.
Self-explanatory.
Yeah, a little bit about why. Like why did you pick Will?
Will Ferrell's the funniest human.
Yes,
walking the earth. I didn't like him when he was on the show for a long time. I didn't watch it much then, but I don't know. Like sometimes you don't get it, and then like one day it clicked. Like I saw something, and I was like, oh, I'm totally wrong. I mean, he can do anything, and it's funny. I mean, what we watch all the time to this day is we watch his audition sketch.
With the cat.
The cat's the second, but it's not that one. It's the one where he's yelling at the kids to get off the shed.
Oh yeah. The barbecue one. Yeah. Josh, you should watch the auditions episode of that docu because they talk about that. And one aspect I thought was really interesting is that like a lot of folks will come in their audition, and if we're like that could be a sketch, that's what got them on the show. So
all right, I need a star. You got my top star, so I'm going to go with Bill Murray.
Yeah, he's great.
He's he came on second season after Chevy left, and I think the show sort of melded around his sense of humor after that. He's one of the all-time best.
For sure. All right, I get 2 picks, right? I get round 2 and then the first pick in round 3. All right.
Yep.
So I'm going to do
also, you don't have to go down the list. You can if you want to go we can update now. You can
Oh, yeah.
So you can choose anybody for any category.
Yeah. I think why don't we keep it?
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with Ron.
No, let's go in order. Let's do cat. Let's go in the order you have it. Yeah. So.
Well, all
right.
All
my second pick is Gilda Radner.
Oh, you son of a bitch!
Funniest woman ever.
Never been on the show.
Yeah. The first recurring character. Just the versatility, and also if you watch the first episode of Saturday Night Live, the courtroom sketch. I laughed out loud. I mean, like to this day, she's still hysterical. So, fantastic. For my first pick of the third round, I'm going to go a little more contemporary, more recent. I'm going to go with Bill Hader. Can do great impressions, can do voices, we all talk about the breaking, he breaks when he breaks is one of the best.
I just looked over at at John Lovitz's face while you were talking, and I instantly started laughing.
But Hader is somebody special. He's fantastic.
You jerk. All right. I will go with.
You're really stressing over this, aren't you?
I am stressing over this.
It doesn't.
I'm gonna go with. I need more character people. Okay, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm going to go with Maya Rudolph.
Interesting.
She can sing.
She's great. Yeah, she's great.
She owns sketches. She goes big. She goes small.
She's versatile. Yeah.
Her. Where is she?
Yeah.
Here she is. Maya Rudolph. There we go. Boom. Boom.
This is great radio, by the way.
Josh?
I'm going to give them to you both, one after the other. Kenan Thompson, Kate McKinnon.
Oh, you asshole. I had Kenan next on my list.
And it was a real toss-up between Kenan and Tim Meadows. And I don't say that because they're both black dudes, but they were both people who could say, or they could not do anything in the tiniest part of the sketch. And
well, they're the ultimate glue people.
Oh, I mean, they're both.
There's a reason why Kenan has been on for 22 years, and I think Tim was on for what, 15 or something crazy like they. They're
like very little effort and just.
Kenan is like the modern Daryl Hammond. You know, like Daryl Hammond was on for 15 years.
Better than Daryl.
So much better than Daryl Hammond. You know, but like that
Daryl
glue
Hammond's not showing up in this draft.
No, agreed. But Daryl Hammond was in a lot of sketches. Like they used him a lot. You know what I mean? And Kenan is great. I love Kenan. He's very good. So.
All right.
And what about Kate McKinnon? Why did you choose her?
I don't actually watch a ton of the more recent, and when I say more recent, it's like 10, 15 years. And so it takes me a little while for them to break in, but I've just, every time I've ever seen her do anything, it's just, she's just inherently funny. I just think she's very, very talented and funny, and she can kind of be a side person in the sketch. She can do that. She can hold the sketch. She's unusual in a good way.
Well, I'm going to go with a man who is funny when he is not even doing anything, and that's Chris Farley.
Sure.
I mean, he's just funny to think about. He adds. I mean, if you talk about someone who will do anything for a laugh in a sketch, he will do anything for a laugh in a sketch.
Yeah,
and no fear and no ego about it, and that's what. Ron.
All right, where am I at now? Let's see. That's a good question. It's tough when you're trying to figure it out. I mean, I know it's not Anthony Michael Hall, that's for sure. Question: do you go?
Here's the question: if you pick Eddie Murphy, do you have to take Joe Piscopo?
No,
no,
definitely don't.
Should you be forced to take Joe Piscopo as well?
I'm gonna go classic. I'm gonna go Dan Aykroyd.
Chris Elliott.
Dan Aykroyd.
Oh, sorry.
Dan Aykroyd.
Well. Very versatile. If anything, I mean, I still laugh at his Jimmy Carter. I mean, just the Jimmy Carter's fit take. The energy that he brought to it, and just the solid, the solidness of it. It's almost like I've always seen Dan Aykroyd as two people. There's mustachioed SNL Dan Aykroyd, and then there's a little pudgy Ghostbusters and beyond. Yeah, and I feel like
there's not that many years between them. So what the hell happened?
Great cocaine.
He should have not gotten pudgy.
Sure, yeah, not doing cocaine maybe, but anyway, So Dan Aykroyd in that classic first 5 years is fantastic. So with that, then I'm gonna bounce over back to modern or to more modern. And I'm probably gonna go with Fred Armisen.
Good one.
Just because again, versatile, love the music aspect, and always makes me laugh. So
that's a good one. Good choice. He was on my list.
Well, who else is on your list that hasn't been?
Oh, picked? It's my turn.
Yes.
This is hard. Okay, I'm gonna go with Jan Hooks.
Wow,
strong. I considered it.
She's good.
She was one of the best casts.
Yeah.
Everyone always mentions her name in terms of like the best. I mean, you want to say female cast, but the best cast members of all time.
Yeah.
underrated because she was there with Lovitz and she was there with Carvey and she was there with Hartman. But terrific, versatile.
Okay.
I worry that I'm sticking to certain eras too much, which are
No,
eras that I'm most familiar with. But at the same time, having been familiar with all these things, what are you gonna do? Forte.
Forte's funny. He's very funny.
Forte is like a skinny Farley in that he's just always funny to look at.
And also will do anything for a laugh.
And also his ability to modulate his volume when needed, like when he does the quiet talking guy or to his yell, it's fantastic.
He can do, what he does, and he has the gentleness thing that Andy Kaufman has.
Yep.
That sort of like it can, blow it the other way.
Yeah. Good pick.
Dratch.
Oh,
on my list as well.
Dratch is fantastic.
She's good. Yep.
She's underrated.
Yes.
Yep. She's underrated.
The greatest breakup sketch in the history of the show, in my opinion. Not breakup like cracking up. Like,
the greatest where they broke. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
There's some severely heavy hitters who are
still on the table. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, like Mickey Mantle, Hank Aaron, kind of.
I know.
I'm going with one of our favorites. We've already mentioned him. May not be one of the heavy hitters Josh just alluded to, but I don't see how I could not have Tim Meadows on my team.
It's a good one.
He's great character. This smile, right? The smile gets you because there's a little bit of trouble in that smile.
There was, I don't know that it's still true, but like there was a period for a good 10 years that I just had to look at him. And it was funny. He doesn't have to do anything. And it's not even a smile. There's a deadpan. He has a great
oh man.
And then Ladies Man on top of it, which is
so Ron, these are the last two picks for your main cast.
All right.
Choose them wisely.
I'm going, I know it's like heavy hitters or versatile people that will deliver,
Well, let me ask before we get into that. So we're going to snake back through 7. Does that mean Josh gets the first weekend update pick?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah, that's fair.
That's hard.
It's
okay. We're good.
All right. I think I would like another woman in the cast.
Yes.
If that's possible.
It is possible. You have the power.
And I know that there are a lot of very, very talented women that are still available in the draft, but I always enjoyed and thought she brought amazing energy and versatility. I'm going with Melissa Villaseñor.
Oh,
you know what?
Interesting.
I saw that. I was like, man, I wonder if he could say her.
Yeah. She could do impressions. She's very funny, and she has
a weird energy.
And you get the sense towards the end that she didn't want to be there anymore, which I like. Like really excited to be there, and then like I got to get out. So I'm gonna go with
healthy environment.
Go with that, and I feel like her paired with Armisen and Gilda Radner, and Hader,
it's a good mix. Yeah.
And then last, I'm gonna go for a one of my personal favorite. I'm going back to OG, Garrett Morris. I loved Garrett Morris as a kid. I mean, Get Me a Shotgun. I remember watching that when I was like 8 or 9 and thinking it was the funniest thing ever, not understanding the nuance of race, and just think that he is just so talented. And so I go Garrett Morris. So,
all right. Well, one last.
And I left a lot of people. I mean,
there's a lot of people on the table here.
Yeah. But I'm putting together a flexible cast here. So
no one has taken Belushi. No one has taken Sandler. No one has taken Myers. I mean, Lovitz is not on a team.
Yep. Mike Myers hasn't gone yet.
I know.
Yeah, it's huge.
I'd like another female presence on my team, which is why I'm not going to take any of those people, which is crazy. But I think I'm going to go with Amy Poehler. Where is she?
Kristen Wiig hasn't been taken.
Amy Poehler could have been my first or second choice. That's how deep we're going here.
Yeah.
So I said you could triple our roster.
If I did all stars, I was trying not to do all stars.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, you want a little deep cut. Yeah.
She could have been number one. Easy.
Josh, your final pick. Is he going to go Lovitz? Is he going to go Mike Myers? Is he
Thought a
gonna
lot
go
about this.
Jim
And
Belushi?
again,
Is he going to go John Belushi? Jim Belushi.
I'm definitely not going Jim Belushi.
Harry Sweeney.
I'm between two, and neither of them are terribly. I'm gonna go with Mike Myers over Adam Sandler.
I think that's the right pick. Adam Sandler was great and was very funny, but he was very specific, where Mike Myers is more flexible.
Myers, like the diversity of his writing and character creation.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, I like if you start thinking of all of the characters that he did, it's way more than anybody else, and they were all and he would inhabit them. I mean,
he was so quotable.
I mean,
we were in middle school, high school at this time, but like the weekend, the Monday after, if it's not Scottish, it's crap. I mean,
Dieter,
yeah, exactly.
Sprocket, the Dieter. Yeah. That was the time.
Kyle MacLachlan, Connor,
and a monkey. All right, so Josh, that means you get the first pick for a Weekend Update anchor. There have been 17 official Weekend Update anchors.
So can you pick a team? Like, can you do Jost and Che or Tina and Amy? You get one when there have been two anchors.
Budget cuts. We only can afford one anchor.
Do one. Okay. Keep that in mind, though. Is Michael Che as good without Colin Jost? Right?
No.
Ooh.
And you, Jim
like
Jones, not even in the conversation.
Just pick Charles Rocket. Everyone knows you're going to.
Just like people who have the courage to say what they believe. Now,
should we run through the names for people who don't know all the Weekend Update anchors?
Sure, short enough. Yeah, why not?
Chevy Chase. This is the order they were on the desk. Chevy Chase, Jane Curtin, Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray, Charles Rocket, Gail Mathias, Dennis Miller, Kevin Nealon, Norm Macdonald, Colin Quinn, Jimmy Fallon, Tina Fey, Amy Poehler, Seth Meyers, Cecily Strong, Colin Jost, Michael Che. There was a period between 80 and 85 where there was no Weekend Update.
Yes. I would like to, for the record, I'm writing down what Josh's pick is going to be, and then I will reveal it. I will reveal it after he does. Wait, hang on.
I think it could be one of two people.
No, I know. I'm going to do my prediction. And then
I think it could be one of two.
So,
are we ready?
Go for it.
Okay.
You're ready.
Go for it. Yep,
now, really, until I was a little bit older,
I'm highlighting him just to be
certain things happened with this person, but for a while I thought this isn't mine. For a while I thought Dennis Miller was the funniest thing.
So did I.
God's
Loved
green
him.
That's not my pick though.
What?
No, but it's not.
It's Norm.
It's Norm.
I wrote Norm.
Yeah, no,
you can't see it. Yep, there it is. Norm.
I watch like to this day. If any of the Norm Weekend Updates show up, I laugh like the dad in Back to the Future. They
are so funny, and he got fired for them. And that's the greatest.
There's not a comedian like that doesn't get on the air. He's so fucking funny, and because he's on Update, that means that they can still put him in sketches, and he can be Turd Ferguson.
But not in this show.
I will say,
locked to the chair.
I will say, Norm Macdonald. I told you guys, I asked me and my wife were talking about Saturday Night Live, and I mentioned the Cobras, the West Side Story spoof,
right.
And Norm Macdonald is the backbone of that, right? Because he's like that sketch he's perfect in. Because we're talking about with Norm, the subject of the conversation was Norm Macdonald good in sketches, or was he just the Weekend Update guy? I'm like, no, he was great in sketches. Like, yeah. So good pick.
All right, well then I'm taking Dennis. I mean, this is the guy who basically defined the role that everyone's still kind of doing today.
Yeah. Yep.
And then, as Josh said, when we were kids, it was the funniest thing.
And he would make all these references to things that I didn't know what they were because they were from the 50s and 40s. But I was like, he's the coolest guy on earth.
Yeah,
do you ever listen to the Dana Carvey, David Spade podcast?
No.
Dana's constantly just talking like him. I don't think he realizes it. Like he goes into that cadence and that.
He used to do that impression. He used to do it on Weekend Update.
Does it, like, when he's talking to David Spade, he starts doing it. I'm like, does he know he's doing Dennis Miller right now?
Yeah.
Ron, your Weekend Update anchor.
I'll go Seth Meyers.
Great choice.
Solid. I feel like his late night show was built around his Weekend Update skills, and he was fantastic. He was fantastic alone. He was great with Amy Poehler. The 1 year with Cecily Strong, which was odd.
She was just not good. She was
was
on my list. If I had to, I would have been happy to take her in my cast, but she was
she was great in the
update
cast.
anchor.
Yeah,
Not a good update anchor.
Yeah.
So Ron, now you have a choice of there is like
Yeah.
42 actors who never made it beyond the featured status, mostly 1-year players.
I will. But there's one name that stands out amongst all the stars.
Don't.
I will go with the honorable senator from Minnesota, Mr. Al Franken.
Damn it!
Possibly one of the most talented, funniest people ever on Saturday Night Live. So, I mean, the fact that we still reference his live satellite coverage from Weekend Update.
We use that as an internal meme all the time in our
live satellite uplink.
Yeah. I mean, Alfred. I mean, yes. I mean, you know him from Stuart Smalley, but that isn't. No. There's so much better Al Franken, and the Al Franken when he was a featured player in the '70s was just batshit crazy, and then it got super smart when he came back in the '80s, and Al Franken's the best. So.
There's lots of people like Laurie Metcalf was a featured player.
Jay Whitney Brown. I loved A. Whitney Brown.
Rob Riggle.
I didn't get him at all. When I was a kid, I was like, what is this man?
Well, that's what I'm doing because when you always talk about the cast you grew up with, the 86-91, A. Whitney Brown.
Oh, really? You're taking A. Whitney Brown?
In my head, when I hear featuring A. Whitney Brown all the time. So that's my pick. Yeah. He did great sardonic stuff on Update.
I didn't get it.
So I think it's important to note that there are some big names here as well.
Right. But they weren't good on the show.
Right.
I'm all set. I'm putting them in here. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Jim Downey and then Robert Smigel.
Oh, you took Smigel.
You put the two writers on.
Of course I took. Yeah. They're available to write if they're there.
That's true. They are.
Like Jim Downey would have been if it was writers or actors, Jim Downey would have been my first choice.
Yep.
Where's Smigel? Where did I put him? Here he is. All right, so that means I'm going. Let me just put your last voice in there. That's Josh's choices, all set to go. So then I'm gonna go. I'm happy he didn't get chosen. I'm going with Don Novello.
Damn it, that was my next pick. Oh, you know him. He might go by Don Novello, but you know him as Father Guido Sarducci.
Basically, I got two guys who will do great on Update, and that's
that throws off my whole thing now.
It doesn't matter because you have Hader for Update, so you're good. You can
you have Hader and Steph Myers. You're gonna have Steph on all day long.
I know. Yes, I didn't realize I get Steph on. Yeah, there it is. All right, I am. Oh man. All right, I'm gonna go with untapped potential and go with the young Sarah Silverman. So,
not Paul Schaefer.
Not Paul Schaefer.
Apparently was a featured player.
Who, by the way, I don't think there's a better casting in the movie Saturday Night than Paul Rust as Paul Schaefer.
I'm pretty sure Garrett Morris was
that was really good.
All right, so here's our final cast. Ron's SNL cast: Eddie Murphy, Gilda Radner, Bill Hader, Dan Aykroyd, Fred Armisen, Melissa Villaseñor, Garrett Morris, Seth Meyers on the Weekend Update desk, and featuring Al Franken and Sarah Silverman. My cast is Phil Hartman, Bill Murray, Maya Rudolph, Chris Farley, Jan Hooks, Tim Meadows, Amy Poehler, with Dennis Miller on the desk featuring A. Whitney Brown and Don Novello. And Josh's is Dana Carvey, Will Ferrell, Kenan Thompson, Kate McKinnon, Will Forte, Rachel Dratch, Mike Myers, with Norm Macdonald anchoring and featuring Jim Downey and Robert Smigel. These are great casts.
Now, I would like to, as part of my research, I decided to tap into the zeitgeist of the internet and talk to an AI to ask them what for a draft strategy. And this is artificial intelligence's draft.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie Murphy, Phil Hartman, Will Ferrell, Kristen Wiig, Bill Hader, Gilda Radner, and Dana Carvey as cast. And for Weekend Update, it shows Norm Macdonald. And for the featured players, Robert Smigel and Al Franken. So
it's a good,
which is great. Was the explanation for Norm. The best Weekend Update host on this list is Norm Macdonald. Norm brought a dry, deadpan delivery and a sharp, fearless edge to Weekend Update, making it one of the most memorable eras of the segment. His relentless O.J. Simpson jokes, which likely got him fired, and biting sarcasm set a new standard for what Update could be. His influence is still felt today, with many comedians citing him as the best Update anchor ever.
Okay, so one final question as we go into this.
Mhm.
You each get a chance to steal one cast member from somebody else's list. Who do you steal? You're not trading. You're just stealing somebody.
Oh.
From one list?
What
Can
from
it-
each of us?
From
So
each
like
other's.
yeah, so one from Ron, one from me.
I would steal Keenan from yours.
Mhm.
And I mean, I'm gonna remove Eddie from the equation.
I would too.
I would steal Gilda from Ron's.
I would probably steal Norm Macdonald from Josh's and Don Novello from Connor's. I love Don Novello. He's great.
I would say you guys have different sensibilities because I'm like, I got everybody I wanted for the most part.
Who would you steal?
I would take Bill Hader and Phil Hartman.
Good
That
picks.
makes sense.
I mean, you could slice and dice these so much up. Now that said, I would like to propose, and I'm putting this spur of the moment, but I do think that our patrons over at patreon.com/not Andrew Faithful, patreon.com/iFanboy will be allowed to vote on which is the best cast.
That's fine.
We'll put
That's
up
fair.
a poll so you can choose whose SNL cast is your SNL cast between the three of ours.
Who's the strongest? If they're all airing at the same time, which one are you watching?
Yep, exactly.
Do we want to say just real quick who's going to be the guest host for our premiere episode?
Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
Tom Hanks.
That was perfect.
Doesn't even look. Do they still have celebrity guests? Or they just take people who are on old casts now.
Oh my God, I love everything he does. So, not to dwell on Tom, we could do a whole segment on Tom Hanks on Saturday Night Live. But if you can only have one Tom Hanks sketch, I'll let you guys think about it. I'll tell mine first.
Only one Tom Hanks.
Only one Tom Hanks sketch from all the years and era. Do you know what mine is? Can you guess what mine is?
No, I know what mine is. I don't know what yours
mine
is.
is. Bob, you broke your leg. When Phil Hartman's in the hospital with a broken leg and he's Mr. Short-Term Memory.
Wow.
Nurse.
Mr. Short-Term Memory is good.
Yeah.
I love Bobby broke her leg. Oh, it was so good. So
I don't know.
I've got two. And I don't know. And they're not like the two. I'm going to tell you the two. And I think I'm leaning towards the latter. Is that Sauber Price is Right, which you couldn't do today.
Which is great. What? So good.
I don't even know how to explain it. I guess it's like a Middle Eastern bazaar type game show.
Let's move on. Let's
not do the accent.
It is very specific.
And then the other one, that would be my runner up, and then the other one would be him and Lovitz as the loser guys. Here she comes.
There she goes. The loser guys. I
would not talk to us.
That's probably the loser guys, but I'll go more modern. I would say one of the funniest modern sketches was Black Jeopardy, and that was hilarious. All right, so there you go. There's the SNL fantasy draft. Woo, I've been stressing with this for a week.
Yeah. How does it feel? Do you feel?
I feel like
do you need a cigarette? Or
I have my notes that I've been scratching off. Like you can see, most of the top people got.
This doesn't matter, right?
To me, it does. In my heart. So there you go. Thanks for listening and watching this week. Of course, you can always go to iFanboy.com to check out all of our shows we've got there. Josh and I will talk about the week's comic books. We have our Talksplode and Booksplode shows every month. We have special edition review shows. All of that's there. There's over 1,400 shows available at iFanboy.com. And Ron.
Yes. If you want to hear more of me, you can hear me weekly over at AndroidFaithful.com, where I'm talking about phones and technology and Google and Apple and Samsung and all the fun stuff. It's over at AndroidFaithful.com. I know some of you listen. Someone wrote into Android Faithful and said how long they were thinking about the question.
That's hilarious.
Yes, it was very, very
spreading.
good.
And the people on your show were like, "What's he talking about?"
Exactly.
You were like, "Well, it's his other podcast." Like,
Exactly.
Podcast.
And
They
then
know about us.
and also, Connor and I had a conference call with Jason, and I said, "This is like two girlfriends running it." Like
It was very weird.
You called us by the wrong name before.
It
It was very
weird.
weird.
That.
Well, that was just muscle memory. I can't control.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm the wife and he's the girlfriend.
Anyway, you can also check out if you're into pinball, check out Scorebit. We're in the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. It is an app that me and my team over at Scorebit put together to help you track your pinball scores, and we got more cool stuff coming this year. You can go to scorebit.io to the website to check it all out.
And just to reiterate, we said earlier, our next hangout, which is supposed to be the 22nd of February, will be our Oscar predictions, rankings of the best picture, all the stuff we normally do prior to the Oscars. We're doing it there.
So
if you
tune
want
in
to
there.
check it out. Come hang out with us on our live Patreon monthly hangout. And that's the show, guys.
I have a problem. I just realized that I'm going to have to live with. I have Nealon regret.
Wow.
I mean, like, I have genuine, like, that's wrong. Like, if one of you had picked Norm, I would have been like Nealon, just cuz.
So you would have knocked Dennis to third.
I won't. Dennis has really disappointed me.
It doesn't matter. We're talking about his performance on the show.
Really disappointed me.
He was
Doesn't
still
matter.
like that
It's
back
irrelevant.
then, though, too.
I know. I know.
It's
Listen,
irrelevant to the conversation.
My dad was a big Dennis Miller fan back then, and now I'm like, oh, I see. He's still funny.
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll be back next month with probably our post-Oscar thoughts. Until then, I'm Connor.
I'm Ron.
Kevin Nealon's like one of the funniest stand-ups I've ever seen in my life.
He's very good. He's very good.